Sharing across servers is called federation. We made improvements there too. The term federation might sound complicated, but it is not. Think how easy it is to share a file from Dropbox to Google Drive, or send a message from Apple's Messenger to WhatsApp. Join a Slack chat room for Microsoft Teams. Yeah, that's not going to happen. These companies lock you in to their platform. But you can send an email to anyone, Gmail, Hotmail, or company mail, for example. And you can also call anyone, no matter what provider they have. This is federation. It gives you choice rather than locking you in. With Nextcloud, if you want to work with somebody else, you can send them a public link or create a guest account. But if they also use Nextcloud, even if they are at a different company, you can share directly with them. This also works in Talk. Just enter the federation ID that is like the email address of the other person, and they are added to the room. With Nextcloud Hub 26 Winter, you can now add federated users to Nextcloud Teams. After that, you can invite the team to talk rooms or share deckboards or files with them anywhere in Nextcloud. New is also that you can do that directly from the Teams interface. That makes it a bit faster to set up a new team with the resources they need. I mentioned Deck specifically because with this release, Deck introduces support for federation. You can now easily collaborate on projects with people from other organizations. The same goes for calendars. We made it possible to share those read-only with somebody on a different server in the previous Hub release. With this release, you can share them with full write permissions if you like. And did you know Nextcloud Office already had support for federation? You could work together on a document with people from multiple universities, for example. With this release, we also added federated file locking. That means that if you're working on a document on your desktop, the sync client will lock the file on your server. If you then shared the file to somebody on a different Nextcloud server, the lock is shared. When they try to open that same file, they will get a warning that you are working on the document. So with federation, you're not locked into your server. You can host wherever you want and still collaborate with others. With this release, we put you in control. We install the user migration app on system by default and make it possible to migrate data from Deck, Calendar, Mail, Contacts, and Tables. And federation levels up. You can now add people from a different organization to a team and share deck boards across servers. Even file locking works in a federated way now. You should be in control over your photos, your documents, your chats, and video calls. No snooping, no surveillance capitalism. That is a fundamental belief that we in the Nextcloud community share. Now let's move on. Jos already talked about the work we did to bring the new ADA engine to Nextcloud. The ADA engine and the scalability improvements it brings will be critical for the future of Nextcloud. Together, these changes make Nextcloud Files more responsive, more scalable, and easier to use in situations where file-based collaboration carries the most weight. Nextcloud Hub also has desktop file sync applications for Windows, Mac, and Linux, as well as mobile apps on Android and iOS. Let me highlight some desktop client improvements. First, we enabled Nextcloud Assistant to be able to use it with your local files. We also worked on design and introduced a new version numbering. Now, the client version is aligned with server versions, meaning that our latest client is version 33. On macOS, there were two versions of our app, one with the old selective sync approach and one with the virtual file system, which shows all files but only downloads them when you use them. We merged these into a single app that offers both options. The VFS on Windows was improved too. Like the macOS client, the setup is now pretty much instant, and no matter how much data you have on your server. New are dynamic context menus. This adds actions to files based on the apps running on your Nextcloud server. For example, archive a file or folder on the server, create a transcript of an audio file with Nextcloud Assistant, convert files with Pandoc, and import a file with contact data to the default address book. Of course, we didn't only bring this to the desktop client. We also brought these dynamic menu entries to our mobile clients, so you can access these functions anywhere. Apps can add more of these file actions, and we look forward to see what our app developers come up with.